I've been working on my game Paradiso for about 3 weeks now. If you listen to the first video, you know that I don't really have any experience in coding, and I'm not using the visual coding, I'm using the what is the opposite of visual? What is that word? Just the regular code. And I'm going to talk about that more in a later video, I think. In the 3 weeks that I've been working on the game, and at this point it's probably 4 weeks, closer to 4 weeks, I've set up my camera, I've set up my collisions, my gravity, my movement, my dialogue, my menu, my pause menu. I think I have a grappling system that's pretty okay, and a couple little quality of life stuff that I did not expect to. I turned my player object into a state machine, and that was revolutionary, and I finished my first level. Now here's the issue. I have hit a wall. I was cruising along, and it is like everything stopped. And I think it's for a few reasons. First, I had a very clear set of steps I needed to do. Like, oh, I need to have a character before I can have dialogue. I need to have collisions before I can block out levels, like that sort of thing. So I knew exactly what my next challenge was. And because of that, my goals were pretty small in terms of scope, and they were achievable. And so that gave me the motivation to do the next thing. So like gravity, something doesn't fall, and then I make it fall. That feels good, and it's a very tangible, like, I can see the results of this. I know that it's doing what I want it to. I did the thing right, so I want to do another thing right. However, now I have so much in the game that small mistakes can ruin the whole system, and that scares me. Because it means that if I do make a mistake, even though they might be small mistakes, they might take a lot of time to fix and not have much to show for it, because you might break something while you're trying to implement something else, and you're like, oh, I need to fix this, so then you fix it, but then the other thing still isn't implemented, and so you spend a lot of time trying to get yourself back to square one. It's just frustrating. I don't know. The motivation is lost, and that's really why I started these devlogs. I need something to kind of cling to. For a while, the best example of this was wall jumping and wall clinging, because they're sort of these quintessential platformer mechanics. In any modern platformer, you kind of expect them to be there. But I would make a system, and I would try it, and it would mess up this other system, so I'd scrap it and be like, okay, I'm going to start over. I do it again, still doesn't work. And then eventually I'm like, well, maybe I should just keep it. Maybe the player won't notice if I have a wall jumping mechanic, but normal movement is terrible as a result. And that's just not a sustainable mentality to have, because if you go with that mentality, you have a bunch of half-baked mechanics. So all of that to say, I'm tired. Implementing a new mechanic seems like it would mess up so much of the progress that I've made. And so that's where I've hit the wall. I don't know if that's an official term, but it's the best way to describe it, because it's like I'm cruising and then just slam on the brakes, or you crash into a wall. I'm a big Souls-like fan, but I've DNF'd a lot of them. It's just particular bosses that I just can't get their moveset down, and I know I could beat them if I put in the time and the energy, but I'm tired, and I only have so much time, and I only have so much energy, and I don't have a solution. The solution is these devlogs, really, for me, and they're not polished. I could make polished videos. I know I could make polished videos, and I probably should make polished videos, but I need to get more thoughts out. It's sort of like a voice memo. Like, it's more for me than it is for the audience. I mean, maybe this is still entertaining or interesting, but it's not. There's people who do tutorials for their devlogs, and this isn't that. And there's people who talk about specific topics, and at some point I probably will talk about a couple specific topics, but this is sort of the rant video, because I just don't. So it's Dante's Inferno, right? That's the plot of the game, and there's 9 circles of hell. So the question is, how do you make 9 circles of hell distinct? Celeste is a good example of introducing your controls, introducing your basic mechanics, and then each level you introduce a new mechanic, and then a twist on the mechanic, And so I have that all blocked out for Paradiso. I have mechanics that thematically make sense in my head, and they're easy for the player to use. Like they're very simple. We'll use, what's a good example? We'll use wind as an example. There's a level where I want to use gusts of wind, like you see in Celeste, like you see in Mario, like you see in, most platformers at some point in the game. You have the gusts of wind that they push the player around, so the player needs to time when they do certain things, or else they're gonna get, blown into an obstacle. And I don't want to do that because it's in every platformer. I want to do it, like I said, thematically. One of the circles of the punishment is harsh winds that they blow people around. I can't really get rid of it. I could switch it to another wind-related thing, but it's still wind. And in development, I haven't been able to get wind to work with my physics system. And I'm sure it's super easy, but because I don't have the know-how, I don't. I don't know how. I will try things, and I'm sure there's resources I could ask, and maybe I will, but for now I'm just ranting and moving on, because there's nothing that says that I need to finish the second level second, and the mechanic for the third level I can figure out, and I have it like 80% figured out, but then you go to the fourth level, and the mechanics for the fourth level are kind of like the mechanics for the second level, where I don't know what to do. And I don't want to say all of this to discourage people who don't know how to code from making a game, because it has been very enjoyable to have a problem and then try to fix the problem. But at some point, you have a lot of problems and you need to rant for 11 minutes to people on the internet. And that's okay. That's fine, I think. I hope it's fine, because that's what I'm doing. That's what this is. I don't want to edit this. Editing Ethan here, I did actually manage to get a working wind system. It took me probably a dozen attempts, and then I just tried the, a dozen and one attempts, and suddenly it worked. I don't know what I did differently, but it works. Not well, but well enough. It should work for my purposes, I guess, and for now, and then later I can improve on it. But before, I couldn't get the wind to push the player at all, or it would just launch them off the screen. So this is a big improvement. And it's honestly really good, because now most of my extra mechanics that I just could not figure out how to do, most of them are in there. Prototypes anyways. Working prototypes exist for each one. So that wall I was talking about is a problem. But just take a break and come back to it and try again, and it should be fine. Maybe. I shouldn't say it should be fine. It was fine in my case. Unfortunately, I didn't have to completely deconstruct everything and rebuild it, because that could happen. I still don't have a good outro. Stick around for more. I don't know. I'll be more optimistic in the next one. The next one I'll probably be talking about fun stuff. Let me take a look at my notes. Not having money. That'll be fun.